Hey everybody, Tim Weigel here with Watson Realty, and welcome to episode 3 of Coast to Coast, where today we have the pleasure of interviewing Kirk Simon from the Philadelphia area. So if you're looking for all things Liberty Bell and more, and even March Madness, we got Villanova going on up there. Then you come to the right place.
Absolutely.
Kirk, how are you doing today, Kirk?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Happy to be here. Happy to be with you as always, Tim. Great time with you always.
Awesome.
So what's going on?
Nothing much. So tell us, for those that have never been to Philadelphia, what makes Philadelphia special?
Well, I mean, so I would say, what do you know about Philadelphia?
I know Liberty Bell. I know Benjamin Franklin.
You didn't say cheesesteaks. But
I'm a picky eater, and cheesesteaks has onions on it. I'm not an onion fan.
Well, you don't have to get onions, but
and actually, since you brought that up, I guess you could say cheesesteaks, and then of course you got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because they talk about Philly.
Yeah, well, Will Smith was actually born in West Philadelphia. That part of that tale is true. He's actually from West Philadelphia. He went to the same high school as Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay.
Who obviously is from Philadelphia, one of the best basketball players of all time. Overbrook High.
Okay.
Some famous people from Philadelphia, but obviously, what's great about Philadelphia is, this is really, what a lot of people would consider kind of the birthplace of America, right? The Constitution, Valley Forge, which is right up the road here from me. I could walk there from my house. Beautiful place where Washington had his encampment. Right.
Okay.
So the great thing about Philadelphia, a lot of what has to do with Philadelphia is just a lot of history of America. So as you drive around Philadelphia, whether you're in the suburbs, the western suburbs, northern suburbs, eastern suburbs, wherever you are, there are all kinds of places, especially out here in Chester County along the main line, where there's famous battlefields, the encampment, the Paoli Massacre, the Battle of the Brandywine. If you read about all that stuff, those are places that, I serve as a real estate professional in the area. And the other great thing about Philadelphia, obviously, is, proximity. I don't know what your perspective is, but I mean, I spent a short time living in the Midwest, and it was always kind of years and years ago, it was always kind of a little, I wanted to go to the ocean, right? So you can't so from Philadelphia, you can go to the ocean, you can go to the mountains, you can go to the Poconos. We've all heard of the Poconos, I'm sure.
Okay.
Jersey Shore, not like TV Jersey Shore, but that Jersey Shore exists, but like Avalon, Stone Harbor, Ocean City, great family place where there's, a dry town and lots of kids' activities. So if you're in Philadelphia, you can go anywhere. And of course, you can do day trips to New York. You can ride the train north or south. You can get to Boston on that train on the Northeast Regional and the Amtrak, the famous one that they say Joe Biden rode for years when he lived in, Wilmington, and which is right below us, Wilmington, Delaware, which we also serve. That area. And you can get down to DC a couple hours on the train as well. So you can go and do many things here, and a lot of history and a lot of everything is here. It's just a great place to live.
It's like the birthplace of America. And I don't know, maybe many people do know this. I don't know. And I'm pretty sure I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. But wasn't Philadelphia like one of our first capitals before DC was DC?
Yeah. Philadelphia, small time, as well as New York.
They both were.
You can go to the Constitution Hall and see where they signed the Declaration of Independence, and they have a Fed center here as well, where you can go check out. At the Constitution Center, they had like a big thing where you can learn about the history of money and stuff in the country, and you can go do so many things. We're more than just cheesesteaks. We're more than just great. Well, what other people know is sports, right? Sports. We got the best fans in the world. They may throw snowballs at Santa Claus, but that happened many years ago. But
that was like back in what, the 70s or 80s?
I believe it was the 90s, I think.
Was it the 90s?
90s, yeah, 90s. Yeah, I mean, you get old enough, the 90s are a long time
Right?
ago.
That does feel like forever. And I mean, yeah, you guys do have some great sports teams, that's for sure. And if you think about the history of it, like you mentioned, Wilt Chamberlain going to school there, which if you don't know, he's holds the record for the most points scored in a game, and I believe it was 100.
I think I want to say it was 105. I may
He
be
broke
wrong.
100.
Yeah,
I know he broke 100. And I know the second person was Kobe at 81.
Yeah, and then you have another great thing about here, speaking of all that, was sports and everything. Kobe Bryant went to Lower Marion High School, which is right here on the main line.
I thought he was in Philadelphia too. I was going
He's
to
a
ask that.
Philadelphia guy, yeah. We have, I think we're right behind Boston as far as how many universities we have. We have a lot of universities here, a lot of hospitals, a lot of big hospitals, obviously University of Pennsylvania. Just a lot of history here.
I don't think I knew you had that many universities.
A lot of universities that have been around for a long, long time too.
Yeah, because I know you have Temple and you have Villanova, obviously.
Villanova, yep. We have best college basketball around, part of the Big East. So I'm a huge Villanova fan. But yeah, there's just so much to do here. I've lived other places, and we always either came back here or obviously have a home here all the time. So I just love it here, and especially the suburbs with, like I said, a lot of history here. Everything's very set up, and we have wonderful seasons. We get snow, but we don't get like Boston snow.
We don't get snow, so we don't know what that is down here.
We get, we get the four seasons in a true way, in a nice way. And, everybody goes down to the shore in the summer. So it's just a great place to live. A lot of schools, a lot of universities, and a ton of private schools too. Some of the best private and boarding schools are in the area, such as the Hill School, Friends School, George School, all around Philadelphia, and on and on and on.
Now, speaking of Philadelphia, and I could be wrong on this one, but I have family up in Lansdale, and it seems like sometimes, at least for them, they like living out in the suburbs, which they're a little further out than you are, I believe, but they commute into the city to work. Do you have a lot of people that commute for work in their area?
Yeah, so we have, now your family lives a little further out, like you said, out in Montgomery County, but you have from Philadelphia, from 30th Street Station, you have the R5 line that goes all the way out the suburbs along Route 30. And that is generally referred to as the mainline area. So I'm kind of at the end of the main line in Malvern here. But so we have a train, it's very similar, and probably for obvious reasons, it goes through all these little towns from the city out. And that's how our real estate market works too. So the closer you are in on that R5 line, they call it the Paoli-Thorndale line now, or something different now, but it was always called the R5. It would go into the city. So basically, like the closer you are in on that rail, the more the values are, generally speaking, the higher the home prices. So along that main line, as you come through, Lower Marion, Gladwin, Lower Marion, Berwyn, Paoli, Malvern, all the way through, and dozens of stops in between, with Villanova in there as well. That's how the real estate works. It kind of epicenters that way. So yeah, we have a ton of commuters that use that line. You have a ton of commuting that comes from other directions too, but that's the commuter rail is mostly that R5 line.
Okay, so speaking of it, since you talked a little bit about the pricing to a point, what is the median pricing, or how is the real estate market up in the Philadelphia area?
Well, what's great, if you look at regionally, Mid-Atlantic, right? Historically, it's been just a normal, kind of not crazy high highs, not crazy low lows. One of the great things about my area in particular, where I live in Malvern, is considering the companies you can work for here, there's a huge breadth of different industries. We have pharmaceutical, we have tech, we have, we have Google, eBay has a presence because they bought a big company here. There's just, if you name a company, you can get a job kind of working for them in the area. So, and Vanguard, which I don't know if you've heard of Vanguard. That's
Retirement fund, right?
What? Yeah,
Are they the
Vanguard, the mutual fund guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
huge company, growing like crazy forever. They're right here. Then you got little players like SEI Investments. So you've got financial stuff that's kind of boutique along the line too. We have our own little basket of hedge fund guys too and stuff too. And so there's just a lot going on here. So when you look at that and you say, well, how's our market run? Just to give me an idea, when we went into the recession with everybody else in 2008, our property values went down like 20%. So like, I know you in Florida, you're like, they went down like 60, 70% in some places, like crazy. Fort Myers, you could buy a house for $5 during the downturn, right? It's like really hit hard, which sucks. But here we have the good thing. Now, post-COVID, what's interesting is people that might live in central Jersey or northern Virginia or northern New Jersey even have discovered this area because they could kind of live out further. And when you look at what you can earn in some of those areas versus what you can earn here, it's very similar. But if you try to buy a house in central to northern Jersey or northern Virginia versus buying a house, say in Malvern, you're going to be like laughing at our prices. You're going to be like willingly like going, oh yeah, this is great. You're going to be loving it because our prices and our taxes are so much better than some of those areas. So it's really being rediscovered. And our market here, we have 5 days inventory, which is really intense. And
that's crazy.
We've been a building county community for 30 years. We've been building here 30 years. And we have a lot of land preservation because of all of our historic stuff. So it can be tough to build here. And this area, especially in Chester County, is running out of ground after building the ground for 30 years. So my prediction is that we will outpace many other markets where, we have starting to see a really true land scarcity situation. And we have quite a bit of regulation on building here. So that really pumps up the pricing. So great schools. You can live in the county and most people would be happy to send their kids to almost every single public school in the county. Where can you say that in the country?
Oh,
Yeah, that's a tough one. So, obviously you have to decide that for yourself, but great schools, great incomes, great taxes, and history. I mean, what can you say to that, right?
I mean, if it didn't snow, I might want to move up there myself.
Yeah, the worst part is the snow. I'll be honest. I'm not a big snow fan, but you get a Jeep and you call it a day.
Well, and like, I know you mentioned Jersey. I don't think many people know if you make a wrong turn in downtown Philly, cross the bridge, you're in New Jersey.
You're in Camden. Yeah.
Yeah. I've done that turn on accident.
Yeah. South Philly is right there at the bridge, right by Camden. Yep.
Yeah. So, how are you seeing a lot of short-term rentals in the area, or how's that Airbnb type stuff?
I don't see a ton of that because people don't really come out to where I live to like vacation. It's not a vacation spot. It's a bedroom community. It's a suburb. It's everything.
For families.
Yeah, it's everything that, people want when they move to the suburbs. They want, either, a bigger community here, not like Florida. Our big communities are 200 and 300 homes max. Because we'll build here and they'll say, oh, give us, 60% of it is open space. Whereas I saw like in the part of Florida where I owned a house once, they would say like, give us 12% open space.
Yeah.
So it's, our biggest communities here are going to be like 200 and 300 homes, a couple of 500 homes. We don't see 1,800 homes. But a lot of what we see is we'll see once you get a little further out, then you're talking septic systems. So then you're talking about minimum standards of 1 and 2 acre lots, depending on where you are, because you have a septic and a well, so it's countryside,
So if I come up there and I'm approved for $500,000, what type of house am I getting into?
Well, $500,000 in this general area, you'll be at the end of the main line and a little further out, and you're probably, most likely in a very nice townhome.
Okay.
So, one of the neighborhoods I work a lot in, the townhomes are 700,000, the twins are like 900,000, and the singles are 1.2 million or more, up to 1.4. So right now, if you're talking about the median price in Malvern, Pennsylvania, you're talking about 586,000. 2 years ago, it was 526.
Wow. Now, and I know earlier you talked a little bit about taxes,
Mm-hmm.
and saying that you guys have a little more favorable taxes. Like, so your property tax is better. Do you guys have a state tax? I'm not sure.
Well, we have a state income tax at 3.75%.
It's not bad.
A lot of the municipalities that you live in, meaning the townships you live in, which is somewhere between a city and a county, township, if you don't understand that, because that may be a foreign term, they will have the 1% income tax. So, I pay a local income tax of 1% every year. And then I pay an income tax of 3.75% to the state. And then I pay my federal taxes. As far as our schools are fully funded by property taxes, you'll generally have 3 taxes, which are going to be your school, your county, and then your local, which is going to be that township again. So the townships are very small. So say you paid $12,000 in taxes per year, you're probably paying 8 of that to the school, 3 of that to the county, and 1 locally, 1,000 locally. So it's that's not a perfect thing, but that would be about 80% of what your taxes are going to be for your property are going to go to the school district, and the other 20% will be like, 15 and 5 or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And it's also interesting that you guys have townships, because I know at least in Florida, we don't. We really have cities or
Yep.
counties. Like
Yep.
there's no townships here. Now,
we also have boroughs.
Yes, which we do not have boroughs down here in the South.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I know we forgot to mention earlier when we were talking sports, you guys have some good sports movies.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Rocky
Balboa, which that's one thing I do remember, because they do have the statue of him.
They have the statue. Yep.
And you can run up the stairs, which is exhausting.
Yep. At the Philadelphia Art Museum. We have great art here. By the way, the Barnes Foundation is here. Some of the best art on the planet was actually out on the main line. It was very controversial. There's a Netflix special on it when they moved it into the city. The Barnes collection, one of the biggest art collectors ever.
Which actually, come to think about it, the art museum, that's where they did the NFL draft a few years ago. Because they did it outside there.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, the best view of your city is from that Metropolitan Art Museum, or whatever it's called.
The Philadelphia Art Museum.
Philadelphia Art.
Metropolitan Museum of Art is in New York.
So yeah, like up there, like the overcast of the city is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then of course there was that movie with Mark Wahlberg, where he's the football player for the Eagles.
Yep.
That's a good one.
The guy lives on the main line. Him and his wife actually sell real estate.
Yeah. Oh, really? I did not know that.
Natalie.
Yeah, I bet you his real estate business kicked up with that movie.
I don't know. I don't know if he was selling it when that movie came out. I just know he sells it, him and his wife. I haven't done a deal with them, but yeah.
Awesome. So before we end, is there anything that we haven't touched on regarding Philly that you would like to share?
Philadelphia is known for cheesesteaks, crazy sports fans, super like blue collar, hard work ethic type of people. And that's all in our blood here. And whether you come out to the suburbs or not. And when you come out to the suburbs, we're also known for famous families, Campbell Soup founders, Wyeth, DuPonts have a thing here. I don't know if you've ever seen the Foxcatcher movie, which didn't end well, but DuPont actually, that was actually developed. That farm. It was a beautiful farm. There's Rockefeller descendants have huge farm for sale in Malvern. There's just a storied history of this area, but a lot of what you see about Philadelphia in the media is going to focus on the cheesesteaks and the sports fans and everything. But we have a lot of history here. We have a lot of great golf courses too, a lot of great, country clubs and things. But the biggest thing about Philadelphia is that I'm most proud of to live here is that reputation that we really work hard and we value a dollar, and we have that Ben Franklin attitude here, of penny saved is a penny earned, and go out and do a good job and work hard. So just a great place to live. It's a great place for everybody to be, no matter where you're from. And it's really a great place. I mean, I wouldn't live a lot of other places rather than here, for sure.
Well, definitely thank you, Kirk, for your time today. I think our viewers has definitely seen your passion for Philadelphia. And I could tell you from anyone I've known up there, from my family, other people, Philadelphia is a passion that you're definitely born with. There's a reason why it's nicknamed the city of brotherly love. So that's for sure.
I just realized I have a bunch of trash behind me here, a bunch of boxes. I got
brotherly love and taking out the trash are two different things. Don't worry, we understand.
But no, it's very good to spend some time with you, and love Philadelphia, and the suburbs here are great. So if you're thinking about coming here from just about anywhere, it's a great place to live, and every dollar that you spend in real estate and taxes here is a dollar well spent.
Oh, well said, well said. And thank you all. And if you're looking for anything for Philly, I got the perfect realtor for you up there. He'll take great care of you.
And I have a mortgage company too.
I was about to say, and he can even take care of the loan side, which if any of you have dealt with a lender, some are good, some are bad. But if you pair it together and it's under one shop, there's a lot of things they can do to protect you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
See you, buddy.
All right.